Hello and welcome. Today I want to address a particular situation that affects very many students, and it is this. You go into an examination room, you get your script, you open it, and your mind just goes blank, and you do not know what to write or where to start. And should you write down something in that script, it usually doesn't make sense, and you end up getting no marks for that particular situation. Sometimes you look at a given situation, you get started in solving a question, but then your mind, you've got the idea that you know the answer to this particular question, but it's as if your mind has gotten frozen at a particular point, and it becomes unfrozen the moment you hand in your script. What happens? Many students go through this kind of situation. It's only that some of them don't speak out, and they end up thinking that they are the only ones who are facing this problem, which may not be the case. Personally, I've gone through the same problem. Very many students have come to me and confessed that at one point it has happened to them. So we want to look at the solution to this. I've been able to trace this problem to two situations. Number one, the way you learned the concept, and number two, the way you go about preparing for the examination. You may be at such a point that there is nothing we can do about the way you were taught this particular concept. But the way you go about your revision, we can be able to do something about it. Now, talking about revision, how do you go about your revision? Many students start by reading their notes. And then from there, they wonder why they are not understanding their notes. That is not particularly the best method to go about when you are revising for an exam. When you are revising for an exam, the best method is to give your mind a task. Let your mind be searching for something when you are reading your notes. And this is why I usually suggest that when you are revising for a major exam, it may even be for a test, always start with a question. Go to the end of chapter questions. Go to a question in a past paper. Start by attempting to get the solution to the question. Check the answers if it is possible. And if you're unsatisfied with how you did it, now consult your notebook, consult your textbook if the information in your notebook is not enough. And finally, you can go to your teacher and ask your teacher to explain it to you how the answer was arrived at. I'm saying this because sometimes I have heard students, they come to me and they tell me, I've got a problem with this particular topic. And then I ask them, can you show me a question which you attempted, and then we can start from there. Then they go like, no, I have not attempted any question, but I have a feeling I did not understand the topic. Let me tell you what is missing there. What is missing is a specific thing in that particular topic that your mind did not understand, that you did not understand. How do you get to know a specific thing in that topic that you didn't understand? The best way is to start from the question. So when you are revising, number one, always start from the question. You get the solution to the question, and then from there, you can consult your notebook, your textbook, your teachers, and so forth. That way, you are giving your mind something to think about. You are giving it a task, because that is how our minds work. They work best when you give them a task. As soon as they've got the solution to that particular problem, they put it in their library. It's like your mind has a library. In fact, it works like a library. It stores it in a particular way in its library. Then when it's time for the examination, your mind goes back to what it knows. It goes back to the library, and it retrieves that information for you. And then From what it knows, now you're able to work out the question, the new question that you get in the exam. That is how your mind works. But many times, we work in the opposite direction to that. We do not know the need, how important it is for us to give it a task. So during revision, always start from the question. And that is the way I have prepared my videos, because my videos are in such a way that, let me just go to the steps where the step that you should use to follow. And this is to start with a question and then consult the notebook and the textbook. I've already talked about that. Now, in my videos, I've prepared them in such a way that I give you the question at the start of the video. Always pause the video and try it out yourself. Then as soon as you get the answer, you can go to where I have attempted that question. There are timestamps all over my videos so that I can direct you to the solution to that particular question. I know that it's not all the questions in that past paper were difficult to you, or it's not all concepts in that topic which are difficult to you. Maybe it is one or two concepts which you are still got to understand. So I give you the opportunity to skip to that area which is difficult to you, while at the same time I address the challenges of another student who may not be as good as you are, because we are not the same. There are some who might need to look at all the examples that I've given, but you might need to look at maybe 3 examples out of the 5 examples, because the first 2, they were too easy for you and you don't want to really waste time on that. Although I will really appreciate if you play through the whole video, because there's always something that you are likely to learn. Even if you think that you know absolutely everything in this particular topic, take advantage of the experience of your teacher. There is always a way that your teacher can put that concept that you think that you knew so well in a different way, and you find that it improves the way you understand it. So take time. If you've got the time and you're not in a hurry to revise, then take time to go through the whole video. That is a process that I use in my videos, and hopefully this is going to address that particular problem. The reason why you get stuck in the exam is because your mind is trying to look for something which is familiar between what it is reading on the question paper and what it has stored in its library. If there is no familiarity, then you get stuck. So you see how important it is that when you are revising, you even use the symbols for given physical quantities. You use the same symbol so that the moment you are reading the question and you see a clue has been given, and by the way, the examiners, they are very generous. They are always giving us clues. The questions are full of clues. So look for these clues, because the moment you identify the clue, you associate with something which you know very well from your revision, then your mind brings out all that information to you. So next time when you are stuck, just relax, go through the question once again, look for common physical quantities, common clues, and in my videos I show you how to identify these clues. Look for those terms that the examiner keeps on using, because they are pointing the direction in which your calculations should follow. Look for specific instructions that the examiner is asking you to follow. Look for them and you will find those clues. The moment you identify a clue, use the same symbols for the physical quantities that you have always used when you are revising. I want to repeat this because it's very important. The examiner may be using a different symbol just to confuse you a little bit. They may say there is force P and Q. When the word force is mentioned, use the letter F. If the forces are P and Q, call them F1 and F2. This way you are writing on the actual question, not in the space that is provided for you to write down the answer, because you will need that space. But on the question, you will not be penalized if you underline, if you use particular symbols and so forth. So instead of using P and Q, use F1 and F2. That way, you see, these were the symbols that we were using for force. So when you use the same symbols, you are passing that information to your mind that this one is something that you know. This one is something that it has stored in its library. It brings out all that it has stored in the library at your disposal. And now you're able to know what to write down. Sometimes when the mind brings out this information, they come out flowing so fast and in such a large quantity that you've really got to be careful here. Always look for the instructions that the examiner is giving, because sometimes you might have so much information that you end up getting the question wrong. You end up creating your own question. You end up thinking that the examiner is asking something that they have asked before. No. Pause. Slow down, because there could be two problems here. One, you get completely stuck and you don't know what to write down. Number two, you have so much information about this concept that you end up getting it wrong all the same. So always be in control of yourself. Pause. Read the question once again. Make sure that you're following the instructions as given in the question paper and you will never go wrong. So that is the method that I use in my videos. And if you look at several videos, like the ones that I put on this page, you'll find that they've got timestamps, they've got various sections. I've given you a question at the beginning and asked you to pause the video, get the solution to the question before I show you how the answer was arrived at. And when you're revising, don't be in a hurry. Take time. Take time, because the mind cannot be forced to store certain information in its library. It stores that at its own convenience. And how do you know this? It's by repeating a concept over and over again. So don't be tired of repeating a concept over and over again. Don't be tired of doing the same question but from different past papers. Do them all the way, all the same, because that is the best way of getting your mind to store that concept in its own library. So I hope you find this video useful, and if you find this video useful, consider subscribing to this channel so that you get notified each and every time I upload a new video. At the same time, you might be in such a situation that you want to look at several past papers. If you just go through this channel, you'll find that I've tackled several past papers. My videos are usually long compared to normal videos on YouTube, and this is for a purpose. Don't be discouraged by that. Use the timestamps to go to the questions of your choice, because there is a lot that you'll be able to learn from such long videos. I want to thank you for having the patience to go through this long video, and I hope to see you in the various videos as I go through the various concepts and various past papers. Bye bye.